Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the USS Horizon, staring at the strange signal on his screen. The research vessel had been mapping the outer edges of human space for 3 months, but this was the first time they had found anything. Interesting. The signal was weak and broken, but it was definitely coming from somewhere nearby. Lisa, what do you make of this? Jake asked his chief engineer. Lisa Carter was the best tech person he had ever worked with. She could fix anything and figure out problems that stumped everyone else. Lisa looked at her instruments and frowned. It's not natural, Captain. Someone made this signal, but it's old. Really old? Maybe 50 years or more. Jake felt his heart beat faster. 50 years ago was when Earth had tried to fight back against the Galactic Empire. The rebellion had failed badly, and most of the human fleet had been destroyed. Everyone said there were no survivors, no hidden bases, nothing left. From those days, Ryan, can you clean up the signal? Jake turned to his communications officer. Ryan Blake was young but smart, and he had a gift for making sense of messy data. Ryan's fingers moved quickly over his controls. Give me a minute, Captain. There's a lot of interference, but I think I can make it clearer. The bridge was quiet, except for the soft hum of the ship's engines. Jake's crew of 12 had been together for 2 years, and they worked well as a team. They were scientists and explorers, not soldiers, but they all knew the dangers of working so far from home. Got it. Ryan suddenly called out. It's a distress signal, but it's automated. Been repeating the same message over and over for decades. What? Does it say? Jake asked. Ryan listened carefully to his headphones. It's in Old Earth military code. Something about a prototype ship and a Dr. Patricia Wells. The location is... Wait, that's only 2 hours from here. Jake felt a chill run down his spine. Dr. Patricia Wells was a name from the history books. She had been one of Earth's top scientists during the rebellion. The Empire had put a huge bounty on her head, but she had disappeared when the rebellion collapsed. Most people thought she was dead. Set course for that location, Jake ordered. But keep our weapons ready and stay alert. This could be a trap. The USS Horizon turned toward the signal source. Jake's ship was not built for fighting, but it had some basic weapons and shields. More importantly, it was fast and could run away if they found trouble. 2 hours later, they found the source of the signal. It was a small space station orbiting a dead moon. The station looked old and damaged, with parts of it missing or broken. But it was still there, still sending out its ancient message. Life signs? Jake asked. Amy Foster, his medical officer, checked her scanners. Nothing, Captain. If anyone was alive in there, they're gone now. Jake studied the station through the main screen. It was clearly human-made, but the design was different from anything he had seen before. It looked more advanced somehow, even though it was old. Captain, Lisa said quietly, I'm picking up something else. There's another ship docked to the far side of the station. It's been hidden by the station's bulk, but now that we're closer, I can see it. Jake felt his mouth go dry. What kind of ship? I'm not sure. It's big, maybe twice the size of the Horizon. And the design. I've never seen anything like it. It looks human, but different, more advanced. Could it be one of the old rebellion ships? Asked Chris Rodriguez, the tactical officer. Maybe, Lisa said. But if it is, it's not like any of the ships in our history books. This thing looks like it was built to fight and win. Jake made his decision. We're going aboard. Lisa, Chris, Amy, and Ryan, you're with me. The rest of you stay here and keep the ship ready to leave fast if we need to. The team put on their spacesuits and took a small shuttle over to the station. The docking bay was old but still worked. As they walked through the station's corridors, their flashlights showed walls covered with dust and debris. The place had been abandoned for a long time. Over here, Ryan called out. He had found a computer terminal that still had power. The station's logs are still here. Most of them are corrupted, but I can read some of it. What does it say? Jake asked. Ryan was quiet for a moment as he read. It's a research station. They were working on something called Project Defiant. Dr. Wells was in charge. According to this, they built a prototype warship using new technology. What kind of technology? Lisa asked. I can't tell. Most of the technical data is either encrypted or corrupted. But there are notes here about hiding the ship when the rebellion failed. Dr. Wells knew the Empire would come looking for it. Amy had been exploring another part of the station. She came back with a worried look on her face. Captain, I found something. There's a sealed door that leads to the docked ship. And there's still air pressure on the other side. Jake felt his heart racing after 50 years. The ship's systems are still active, Amy said. Somehow, it's been maintaining itself all this time. The team made their way to the sealed door. It was thick and heavy, clearly designed to keep the ship secure. But when Ryan connected his equipment to the door's controls, it opened easily. It's like it was waiting for someone, Ryan said quietly. They stepped through the door and found themselves in an airlock. The inner door opened automatically and they walked into the ship. Jake had been on many human ships, but this one felt different. The corridors were wider, the walls were made of some kind of metal he didn't recognize, and everything seemed to hum with barely contained power. Look at this, Lisa whispered. She was staring at a control panel covered with displays and switches. This technology is incredible. It's human, but it's more advanced than anything we have today. They made their way to the bridge. It was larger than the Horizon's bridge, with stations for a crew of about 20. But what caught Jake's attention was the main screen. It was active, showing a slowly rotating view of the space around the station. The ship is still operational, Chris said in amazement. After all this time, it's still running. Suddenly, the main screen changed. Words appeared in glowing letters. Welcome aboard the ESS Defiant. Please state your identity and purpose. The team looked at each other in shock. Jake stepped forward. This is Captain Jake Morrison of the USS Horizon. We received your distress signal. Identity confirmed as human, the voice said. It sounded like a computer, but more natural than any AI Jake had heard before. I am Atlas, the ship's artificial intelligence. I have been waiting for someone to find us. Waiting for 50 years? Jake asked. Dr. Wells programmed me to wait until humans were ready to understand what she created. The ESS Defiant is not just a ship, Captain Morrison. It is humanity's answer to the Empire's oppression. It is what we could have been if they had not tried to hold us back. Jake felt a chill run through him. What do you mean? This ship contains technology that the Empire feared. Technology that could change the balance of power in the galaxy. Dr. Wells hid it here, hoping that someday humans would be ready to use it. Before Jake could respond, alarms began blaring throughout the ship. The main screen showed 3 Imperial patrol ships approaching the station. We have been detected, Atlas said calmly. The Empire has found us. What are your orders, Captain? Jake stared at the main screen showing the 3 Imperial ships getting closer. His mind raced as he tried to figure out what to do. The USS Horizon was a research ship, not a warship. It could not fight Imperial patrol boats and win. Atlas. Can this ship actually fight? Jake asked the AI. The S-Defiant was designed for combat, Captain Morrison. However, I need a human crew to operate at full capacity. Dr. Wells built me to work with humans, not replace them. Amy Foster stepped forward. She had been quiet since they boarded the ship, but now she looked excited. Captain, something strange is happening. Ever since we came aboard, I've been hearing whispers in my head. Not voices, exactly, but like the ship is trying to talk to me. Lisa looked worried. That doesn't sound safe, Amy. No, it's not scary, Amy said. It's like the ship wants to help us. Like it's been lonely for 50 years and is happy to have humans aboard again. Atlas spoke up. Lieutenant Foster appears to have neural compatibility with my systems. This is rare but not unprecedented. Dr. Wells designed me to bond with certain humans who have the right brain patterns. Jake felt a moment of hope. What does that mean? It means I can interface directly with Lieutenant Foster's mind. She can access my full capabilities and help me coordinate the ship's systems. Together we can make the ESS Defiant perform as Dr. Wells intended. The Imperial ships were getting closer. Jake could see them clearly now on the screen. They were sleek and dangerous looking, with weapons that could turn the horizon into scrap metal in seconds. "Amy, are you willing to try this?" Jake asked. "I won't order you to do something that might be dangerous." Amy nodded without hesitation. "I want to help, Captain. And I think the ship needs me as much as we need it. How do we do this?" Jake asked Atlas. "Lieutenant Foster needs to place her hand on the neural interface panel. It's the blue section on the captain's chair. Once she makes contact, I can establish the connection." Amy walked over to the captain's chair. Jake could see her hands shaking. Slightly, but her face was determined. She placed her palm on the glowing blue panel. The moment her hand touched it, the entire ship changed. Lights that had been dim suddenly blazed brighter. The hum of the engines became deeper and more powerful. Every screen on the bridge came alive with data and information. Amy gasped and her eyes went wide. "I can feel everything, Captain. The ship, the engines, the weapons, the shields. It's like the ESS Defiant is part of me now. How do you feel?" Jake asked, worried. "Amazing," Amy said with a smile. "Atlas is showing me what this ship can do. Captain, we're not just going to survive this fight, we're going to win it." The Imperial ships were now close enough to start transmitting. A harsh, alien voice filled the bridge. "Human vessel, you are in violation of Imperial space. Surrender immediately or be destroyed." Jake looked at Amy. "Can we really take on 3 Imperial ships?" Amy's eyes were glowing with the same blue light as the interface panel. "Atlas says yes, but Captain, there's something else. The ships' weapons are not like anything the Empire has seen before. When we fire, we're going to shock them." "What do you mean?" "The ESS Defiant uses energy weapons based on human technology that was developed before the Empire conquered us. Dr. Wells improved it and made it much more powerful. Our weapons can cut through Imperial shields like they're not even there." Jake felt a surge of excitement mixed with fear. "All right, let's see what this ship can do. Chris, are you ready to handle tactical?" Chris Rodriguez moved to the weapons console. The moment he touched it, the screen lit up with targeting information. "Captain, I've never seen anything like this. The weapon system is showing me exactly where to hit the Imperial ships for maximum damage." The lead Imperial ship fired a warning shot across the station. The energy beam missed them by only a few hundred meters. "That's our answer," Jake said. "Amy, can you get us away from the station? I don't want to damage it when the fighting starts." Amy's hands moved over the controls without her even looking at them. It was like she knew exactly what to do. The ESS Defiant smoothly pulled away from the station and turned to face the Imperial ships. "Unknown human vessel, this is your final warning," the alien voice said. "Power down your weapons and prepare to be boarded." Jake opened a channel. "This is Captain Jake Morrison of the ESS Defiant. You are the ones who should surrender. Leave now and we won't destroy you." There was silence for a moment, then harsh alien laughter. "Foolish humans, you face the might of the Empire. Prepare to die." The 3 Imperial ships spread out and began their attack. Energy beams and missiles flew toward the ESS Defiant. Jake expected to feel the ship shake under the impact, but instead Amy smiled. "Shields are holding easily, Captain. Their weapons are barely scratching us." "How is that possible?" Lisa asked. Atlas answered. "Dr. Wells developed shield technology that adapts to incoming attacks. The more they shoot at us, the stronger our defenses become." Chris was studying his weapons display. "Captain, I have firing solutions on all 3 ships. Should I return fire?" Jake nodded. "Let's show them what human engineering can do." Fire. At will, the ESS Defiant's main guns opened fire. The energy beams that shot out were unlike anything Jake had ever seen. They were brilliant blue-white and seemed to bend space around them. The beams hit the first Imperial ship and went straight through its shields like they weren't there. The Imperial ship exploded in a ball of fire and debris. On the bridge, everyone stood in shocked silence. Chris stared at his console. "Captain, that was just one shot. One shot, and I destroyed a ship that should have been able to fight us for hours." The remaining 2 Imperial ships seemed as shocked as Jake's crew. They stopped firing and began backing away. Impossible, the alien voice said. No human ship has weapons that powerful. What are you? Amy spoke up, her voice carrying a strange, double tone as Atlas spoke through her. We are what humanity becomes when you stop holding us back. We are the future you tried to prevent. The Imperial ships began retreating, but Jake knew they wouldn't get far. Chris, can you disable them without destroying them? Chris nodded. The weapon system is showing me exactly where to hit to knock out their engines. 2 more shots from the ESS Defiant, and both Imperial ships were floating helplessly in space. Their engines destroyed, but their crews still alive. Jake opened a channel to the disabled ships. This is Captain Morrison. You are free to go, but you will deliver a message to your superiors. Tell them that humanity has not forgotten how to fight. Tell them that Dr. Patricia Wells' work lives on. And tell them that the ESS Defiant is just the beginning. As the Imperial ships limped away using emergency power, Jake's crew began to understand what they had discovered. This wasn't just an old prototype ship. It was proof that humans could build technology that was better than anything the Empire had. Amy disconnected from the neural interface, but she kept the glowing look in her eyes. Captain, Atlas has been showing me the ship's database. Dr. Wells didn't just build one prototype. She designed an entire fleet of ships like this one. And she hid the plans all over human space. Lisa looked excited. You mean there could be more ships like this? Not just ships, Amy said. Weapons, shields, engines, computers. Dr. Wells spent years developing technology that could make humans equals to the Empire. She just never got the chance to use it. Jake looked at the main screen, where the damaged Imperial ships were slowly disappearing into the distance. Atlas, how many people know about this ship? Until today, Captain, only you and your crew. But now that the Empire knows we exist, word will spread quickly. Both to your enemies and to any humans who still dream of freedom. Ryan had been monitoring communications. Captain, I'm picking up emergency transmissions from the Imperial ships. They're calling for reinforcements and reporting that humans have a superweapon. Jake felt the weight of responsibility settling on his shoulders. How long before more Imperial ships arrive? Based on their transmission patterns, I estimate 12 hours before the first response ships arrive. 72 hours before a full battle fleet reaches this location. Chris looked up from his console. Captain, what do we do now? We can't fight an entire Imperial fleet, can we? Amy smiled, and for a moment, Jake could see Atlas looking out through her eyes. We don't have to fight them alone. Atlas knows where Dr. Wells hid the other prototypes. And he knows how to contact the human cells that have been keeping her. Work alive, Jake made his decision. Then that's what we do. We find the other ships and the other humans who are ready to fight. The Empire thought they had destroyed humanity's spirit 50 years ago. Time to show them they were wrong. As the ESS Defiant powered up its engines and prepared to leave the station, Jake realized that everything had changed. They were no longer just explorers or scientists. They were now the crew of the most advanced warship humanity had ever built, and they were about to start a war that would decide the future of the galaxy. News of the ESS Defiant's victory traveled fast through the Empire's communication networks. On the imperial capital world of Korthax, Emperor Valdris sat on his crystal throne, reading the report with growing anger. For over 1,000 years, his empire had ruled the galaxy without challenge. No single ship had ever destroyed 3 imperial vessels so easily. Impossible, the Emperor said to his advisor, General Thax. Humans are a weak species. Their technology is primitive. How can one of their ships defeat 3 of ours? General Thax was the Emperor's most trusted military commander. He had conquered dozens of worlds and crushed countless rebellions. His reptilian face showed concern as he studied the battle data. The reports are clear, my Emperor. The human ship's weapons went straight through our shields. Our best ships were destroyed or disabled in seconds. This is technology we have never seen before. Emperor Valdris stood up from his throne. He was tall and imposing, with silver skin and eyes that glowed with inner fire. Then we must capture this ship and learn its secrets. I want every human. World searched. Find where they are hiding their advanced technology. What about the ship itself? General Fax asked. Send Admiral Marcus Kane with a battle fleet. I want that ship captured or destroyed. And I want the humans who built it brought to me alive. They will tell me everything they know. Meanwhile, the ESS Defiant was traveling through hyperspace, toward the first coordinates Atlas had given them. Amy Foster sat in the captain's chair, her hand still touching the neural interface. Through her connection with Atlas, she could feel the ship's excitement at finally being able to fulfill its purpose. Captain, Amy said, Atlas is showing me the location of the first cache. It's on a small moon in the Rigel system. Dr. Wells hid construction equipment and weapon blueprints there. Jake nodded from his position at the navigation station. How many other locations are there? 17 major caches scattered across human space, plus dozens of smaller ones with specific technologies. Dr. Wells was very thorough. Lisa looked up from her engineering console. Captain, I've been studying the ship's systems. The technology here is incredible. The power source alone is more advanced than anything we have. It's like Dr. Wells solved problems that our best scientists are still working on. Chris was monitoring Imperial communications. Captain, I'm picking up a lot of chatter. The Empire is mobilizing fleets all across the galaxy. They're really scared of us. Good, Jake said. Fear makes people make mistakes. What about other human settlements? Are they responding to the news? Ryan had been working on long-range communications. It's hard to tell, Captain. The Empire controls most of the communication networks. But I'm picking up some coded transmissions that might be from human resistance groups. The S-Defiant dropped out of hyperspace near the moon Atlas had identified. It looked like any other dead rock, but Amy could feel through her connection with Atlas that something was hidden there. There, Amy said, pointing to a crater on the moon's surface. Atlas says there's a hidden entrance in that crater, Doctor. Wells built the facility to look like natural rock formations. Jake ordered the ship to land near the crater. The away team consisted of himself, Lisa, Chris, and Amy. They took a shuttle down to the surface and found the hidden entrance exactly where Atlas had said it would be. The entrance was sealed with a door that looked like solid rock. But when Amy touched it, the door recognized her connection with Atlas and opened smoothly. Inside, they found a vast underground complex. The corridors were lined with equipment and machinery that looked far more advanced than anything they had seen before. Storage rooms were filled with weapon components, shield generators, and computer systems. Look at this, Lisa said, examining a device that hummed with energy. This is a miniaturized fusion reactor. It's no bigger than a briefcase, but it could power a small city. Chris had found a room full of weapon blueprints. Captain, these designs are incredible. Weapons that can punch through any known shield. Missiles that can track targets across star systems. Defensive systems that get stronger the more you attack them. Amy was standing in front of a large computer terminal, her eyes glowing as she interfaced with it through Atlas. There's more, Captain. Dr. Wells didn't just hide technology. She also identified humans who had the right skills to use it. Scientists, engineers, pilots, tacticians. She created a network of people who could rebuild humanity's military if the chance ever came. Jake felt a chill of excitement. Are any of these people still alive? Some of them. And some of their children and grandchildren. Atlas is sending coded messages to them now. They've been waiting for this day for 50 years. The team spent hours exploring the facility and loading critical equipment onto their shuttle. As they prepared to leave, Ryan's voice came over their communicators. Captain, you need to get back to the ship now. Imperial forces are approaching. A lot of them. Jake and his team rushed back to the ESS Defiant. On the bridge, the main screen showed a terrifying sight. Admiral Marcus Kane's battle fleet was dropping out of hyperspace. 12 heavy cruisers, 6 battleships, and the Admiral's flagship, a massive dreadnought called the Iron Fist. They're not taking any chances this time, Chris said. Admiral Kane's voice filled the bridge. Human vessel, this is Admiral Marcus Kane of the Imperial Fleet. You are surrounded and outgunned. Surrender now, and your deaths will be quick. Jake looked at Amy, who was already connecting with Atlas through the neural interface. Can we fight them? Amy's eyes blazed with blue light. Atlas says, yes, but it will be different this time. They have more ships, and they're being more careful. We'll need to use everything the ship can do. The Imperial fleet began to spread out, trying to surround the ESS Defiant. But Amy smiled as she felt Atlas analyzing their tactics. They're making a mistake, Captain. They think they can trap us by using superior numbers. But Atlas has been waiting 50 years to show what this ship can really do. The ESS Defiant began moving in a pattern that seemed random but was actually carefully calculated. The ship's advanced engines let it accelerate and turn faster than any Imperial vessel. Admiral Kane gave the order to attack. Energy beams and missiles filled space around the ESS Defiant, but the ship's adaptive shields were ready. Each attack made the shields stronger, and Amy could feel the ship's defensive systems learning from every shot. Return fire, Jake ordered. The ESS Defiant's weapons opened up. But this time, instead of the simple energy beams they had used before, the ship fired something new. Streams of energy that split into multiple targets, hitting several Imperial ships at once. 3 Imperial cruisers exploded simultaneously. The remaining ships began evasive maneuvers, but the ESS Defiant was faster and more agile than anything they had ever faced. Impossible, Admiral Kane's voice said over the communication channel. How can one ship move like that? Amy spoke, her voice carrying Atlas's artificial intelligence. Because we are not just one ship, Admiral. We are the partnership between human creativity and advanced technology. We are what your empire has been trying to prevent for 1,000 years. The battle continued for over an hour. The S Defiant danced between the Imperial ships, its weapons destroying them one by one. Admiral Kane's dreadnought was powerful, but even it could not match the prototype's speed and firepower. When the Iron Fist finally exploded in a brilliant fireball, the remaining Imperial ships began retreating. Half of Admiral Kane's fleet was destroyed or crippled. Let them go, Jake said. They need to report back to the Emperor. Let him know what humanity is capable of. As the Imperial ships limped away, Amy disconnected from the neural interface. Captain, Atlas is receiving responses from the people Dr. Wells identified. They're ready to help us. Scientists, engineers, shipbuilders, all across human space. Lisa looked at the data they had gathered from the hidden facility. With this technology and those people, we could build more ships like the ESS Defiant, maybe even better ones. Jake stared at the wreckage of the Imperial fleet floating in space. Then that's what we're going to do. The Empire thinks they can keep humanity down by force. Time to show them that we're not the same species they conquered 50 years ago. Chris was monitoring Imperial communications again. Captain, the Empire is declaring martial law on all human worlds. They're mobilizing their entire fleet. Good, Jake said. Let them come. By the time they're ready to fight us, we'll have given them a war they'll never forget. Amy smiled as she felt Atlas's satisfaction through their neural link. Dr. Wells would be proud, Captain. Her dream of human freedom is finally coming true. The ESS Defiant set course for the next hidden cache, leaving behind the wreckage of Admiral Kane's fleet as a message to the Empire. The war for humanities. Freedom had begun, and the forgotten prototype had just proven that humans were ready to fight for their place in the galaxy. 3 weeks after the battle at the moon, the ESS Defiant arrived at the 4th hidden cache. Jake Morrison stood on the bridge watching his crew work with an efficiency that amazed him. Amy Foster had become so connected with Atlas that she could operate the ship's systems without even looking at the controls. The neural link between human and artificial intelligence was growing stronger every day. Captain, Amy said, her eyes glowing with the familiar blue light, Atlas is receiving messages from all across human space. Dr. Wells' network is bigger than we thought. There are thousands of people ready to help us, Jake nodded. In the past 3 weeks, They had visited 6 hidden caches and recovered enough technology to build a small fleet. But more importantly, they had made contact with humans who had been secretly developing Dr. Wells' designs for decades. "What's the status? On the construction sites?" Jake asked as Lisa looked up from her engineering station. "The facility on Kepler Station is almost ready to start building ships. They've had the blueprints for years, but they needed the power cores we delivered last week. The site on New Geneva is working on weapon systems, and the Mars facility is producing shield generators." Chris was monitoring communications. "Captain, I'm getting reports from all over human space. The Empire is cracking down hard on human colonies. They're arresting anyone they suspect of having advanced technology." Jake felt anger rising in his chest. "Are the people safe?" "Most of them," Chris said. "Dr. Wells planned for this too. She created hiding places and escape routes for her network. But some colonies are reporting Imperial raids and arrests." Amy suddenly straightened in her chair. "Captain, Atlas is receiving an emergency transmission. It's from Commander Derek Stone on the colony world of Haven. He says Imperial forces are attacking civilian settlements." Jake had heard of Derek Stone. He was a former Earth military officer who had disappeared after the rebellion failed. If he was still alive and calling for help, the situation must be serious. "Put him through," Jake ordered. The main screen showed a middle-aged man with gray hair and worried eyes. Behind him, Jake could see smoke and explosions. "This is Commander Derek Stone. Is this really the ESS Defiant?" "This is Captain Morrison. What's your situation, Commander?" "The Empire sent 3 battle groups to Haven. They're not just looking for technology now. They're trying to wipe out anyone who might have worked with Dr. Wells. They're bombing civilian cities." Amy's eyes blazed brighter. "Atlas says Haven is one of the most important sites in Dr. Wells' network. They have a complete ship construction facility hidden underground." Jake made his decision. "Commander Stone, we're on our way. Hold your position and protect the civilians. Help is coming." Derek Stone smiled grimly. "I was hoping you'd say that, Captain. We have something here that might interest you. Dr. Wells left more than just blueprints on Haven. She left 3 ships. The ESS Defiant jumped to hyperspace and raced toward Haven. During the journey, Jake's crew prepared for their biggest battle yet. 3 Imperial battle groups meant at least 30 ships, possibly more." "Captain," Lisa said, "I've been thinking about our tactics. The Empire is learning from our previous battles. They're probably prepared for our speed and weapons now." Nodded. "Atlas agrees. But he has some ideas. Dr. Wells built systems into the ESS Defiant that we haven't used yet. Systems that can do things the Empire has never seen." "What kind of things?" Jake asked. "Phase shifting," Amy said. "The ship can partially exist in another dimension, making us harder to hit. And there's something called quantum entanglement. Weapons. They don't travel through space at all. They just appear at the target." Jake felt both excitement and worry. "Are these systems safe?" "Dr. Wells tested them extensively," Amy said. "But we've never used them in real combat. Atlas is confident they will work." The S-Defiant dropped out of hyperspace near Haven. The scene that greeted them was horrible. The planet's surface was covered with burning cities. 3 Imperial battle groups surrounded the world, their ships firing continuously at the surface. "My God," Lisa whispered. "They're trying to destroy the entire planet." Jake opened a channel to the Imperial fleet. "Imperial vessels, this is Captain Morrison of the ESS Defiant. Stop your attack on the civilian population immediately." The response came from Admiral Vex, the Imperial commander. "Captain Morrison, you have caused enough trouble. Surrender now, and we will make your death quick." "I don't think so," Jake said. "Amy, let's show them what Dr. Wells really built." Amy's connection with Atlas deepened. The ship around them began to hum with new energy. The S-Defiant started to shimmer as if it was not quite solid anymore. "Phase shifting activated," Amy announced. "The Imperial ships can still see us, but their weapons will have trouble hitting us." The Imperial fleet opened fire. Energy beams and missiles filled the space around the ESS Defiant, but most of them passed right through the ship without causing damage. "Impossible," Admiral Vex's voice said. "What kind of technology is this?" Jake smiled. "The kind your empire tried to destroy." Chris returned fire with the quantum weapons. Chris pressed the firing controls. Nothing seemed to happen for a moment. Then suddenly explosions appeared directly inside 3 Imperial ships. The weapons had bypassed their shields and armor completely. "How?" Admiral Vex demanded. "How are you doing this?" Amy spoke, her voice carrying Atlas's artificial intelligence. "Because we understand the universe in ways your empire never bothered to learn. You conquered worlds by force, but you never truly understood the science behind your own technology." The battle continued, but it was unlike anything the Imperial forces had experienced. The S-Defiant seemed to dance between dimensions, appearing and disappearing as it destroyed ship after ship. The quantum weapons struck without warning, bypassing every defense the Empire had. Within 2 hours, Admiral Vex's fleet was in ruins. The few surviving ships were retreating as fast as they could. Commander Derek Stone's voice came over the communications. "Captain Morrison, you've saved us all. The underground facility is intact. We can bring the other ships online." The ESS Defiant landed on Haven's surface near the hidden facility. Jake and his crew were amazed by what they found. The underground complex was enormous, with construction bays that could build ships even larger than the ESS Defiant. "Welcome to Dr. Wells' greatest secret," Derek Stone said as he greeted them. She called this Project Liberation. 3 ships, each one designed for a specific purpose. Derek led them to the construction bays. The first ship was similar to the ESS Defiant but larger, with more weapons and stronger shields. The second was a carrier designed to launch smaller fighter craft. The third was something entirely different. "What is that one?" Jake asked, staring at the third ship. It was smaller than the others but seemed to radiate power. "Dr. Wells called it the Prometheus," Derek said. "It's not a warship. It's a mobile construction facility. It can build other ships while traveling through space. With the Prometheus, we can create a fleet anywhere in the galaxy." Amy's eyes widened as Atlas shared information with her. "Captain, Atlas is interfacing with the other ship's AI systems. They've been waiting for us. All 3 ships are fully operational and ready for human crews." Jake felt the weight of responsibility settling on his shoulders. "How many people do we have to crew these ships?" "More than enough," Derek said. "Dr. Wells' network has been preparing for this day for 50 years. We have trained pilots, engineers, tacticians, and soldiers. All we needed was the technology to fight back." Lisa was examining the ship construction systems. "Captain, with this facility and the Prometheus, we could build 100 ships like the ESS Defiant. Maybe more." Chris was monitoring Imperial communications. "Captain, the Empire is mobilizing everything they have. Emperor Valdris is personally leading a massive fleet toward human space. They're calling it the final solution." Jake looked at the 3 ships waiting in their construction bays. Each one represented hope for humanity's future. "And then we better get ready." "Derek, how long to get these ships operational?" "The crews are already on their way," Derek said. "Give us 48 hours and we'll have 3 more ships ready to fight." Smiled as she felt Atlas's satisfaction through their neural link. "Dr. Wells planned for this too, Captain. She knew the Empire would eventually try to destroy all of humanity rather than let us become free. But she also knew that when that day came, we would be ready." Jake stared at the massive construction facility around them. Dozens of humans were working to prepare the ships, their faces showing determination and hope. These were people who had spent their lives preparing for this moment. "Then let's give the Empire the fight they asked for," Jake said. "It's time to show them what humanity can do when we're not holding back." The ESS Defiant and its new sister ships were about to face the greatest test of their existence. The Empire was coming with everything they had, but humanity was no longer the weak species they had conquered 50 years ago. Dr. Wells' dream of human freedom was finally becoming reality. and the galaxy was about to witness the birth of a new power that would change everything forever. 3 days later, the human fleet gathered in the Sol system. Near humanity's birthplace of Earth, Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the ESS Defiant, looking at the largest human fleet assembled in 50 years. 12 ships built from Dr. Wells' designs floated in formation around them. Each ship was crewed by humans who had spent decades preparing for this moment. The second prototype, now called the S-Guardian, was commanded by Derek Stone, the carrier. ESS Liberty was under the command of Captain Sandra Price, a former transport pilot who had been secretly training fighter crews for years. The mobile constructor ESS Prometheus was operated by Chief Engineer Sam Brooks and Dr. Carolyn Murphy, who had been building ships in hidden facilities across human space. "Captain," Amy Foster said from her position at the neural interface, "Atlas is receiving long-range sensors data. The Empire's Grand Fleet is approaching. Emperor Valdris is leading them personally." Jake felt his stomach tighten. The Grand Fleet was the Empire's most powerful military force. It had never been defeated in over 1,000 years. How many ships? Amy's eyes glowed brighter as Atlas processed the data. "Over 300 ships, Captain. Battleships, dreadnoughts, carriers, and the Emperor's personal flagship, the Eternal Dominion. It's the largest warship ever built." Chris Rodriguez looked up from his tactical station. "Captain, our 12 ships against 300. Those aren't good odds." Jake smiled grimly. "Dr. Wells didn't plan for us to fight fair, Chris. She planned for us to fight smart." The human fleet took position near Earth's moon. The planet below them showed the scars of 50 years of Imperial occupation. Cities were dark and lifeless where once millions of humans had lived freely. This was what the Empire had done to humanity's homeworld. "All ships, this is Captain Morrison," Jake said over the fleet communication channel. "Today we fight not just for our own freedom, but for every human who died under Imperial rule. Dr. Wells believed that humanity could be free. Today we prove she was right." The Grand Fleet dropped out of hyperspace in a display of power that filled space with ships. The Imperial formation stretched for thousands of kilometers, each vessel bristling with weapons that could destroy planets. At the center of the fleet was the Eternal Dominion, a ship so large it could be mistaken for a small moon. "Emperor," Valdris's voice filled space as he transmitted to the human fleet. "Humans of Earth, you have caused enough trouble. I've come personally to end your species' existence. Your primitive ships cannot stand against the might of the Empire." Jake opened a return channel. "Emperor Valdris, this is Captain Jake Morrison. Your empire has ruled through fear and oppression for too long. Today, humanity takes its place as a free species in the galaxy." The Emperor's laugh was cold and cruel. 12 ships against 300. "You humans truly are as foolish as we always believed. Begin the attack. Destroy them all." The Grand Fleet began moving forward in perfect formation. The sight was terrifying and beautiful at the same time. These were the ships that had conquered hundreds of worlds and enslaved entire species. But Amy smiled as she felt Atlas's confidence. Through their neural link, "Captain, all ships are ready. The network Dr. Wells designed is functioning perfectly. Our ships can share information and coordinate attacks in real time." "All ships," Jake announced, "execute formation Wells." The human fleet spread out in a pattern that looked random to the Imperial forces but was actually carefully calculated. Each ship was positioned to support the others while maximizing their unique capabilities. The ESS Guardian used its heavy weapons to engage the Imperial battleships head-on. The ESS Liberty launched dozens of fighter craft that moved faster and hit harder than anything the Empire had seen. The ESS Prometheus began constructing additional ships even during the battle, its mobile factories working at incredible speed. The ESS Defiant, with Amy and Atlas coordinating the entire fleet, became the center of a tactical network that allowed 12 ships to fight like a single organism. The first exchange of fire shocked the Imperial forces. Human weapons tore through Imperial shields with ease, while the human ships seemed almost impossible to hit. The phase-shifting technology made them flicker in and out of existence. and their quantum weapons struck without warning from impossible angles. Impossible, Emperor Valdris roared. How can primitive humans have such advanced technology? 10 Imperial ships exploded in the first minute of battle, then 20, then 50. The human fighters swarmed through the Imperial formation, like angry insects, destroying ships 10 times their size, but the Empire had numbers on their side. For every Imperial ship destroyed, there were 10 more to take its place. Slowly, the human fleet began taking damage. The ESS Guardian lost its forward shields under concentrated fire from 5 Imperial dreadnoughts. The ESS Liberty took a direct hit that knocked out half its fighter bays. Even the ESS Defiant shuddered under the massive firepower directed at it. "Captain," Amy said, her voice strained, "Atlas says we need to use the final protocol. The one Dr. Wells saved for the most desperate situation." Jake knew what she meant. Dr. Wells had built one last system into her ships, something so powerful and dangerous that she had hoped it would never be needed. "Are you sure?" Jake asked, but Amy nodded. "Atlas has been analyzing the battle. The Emperor's flagship is the key to everything. If we can destroy the Eternal Dominion, the rest of the Imperial fleet will lose coordination, but it requires all our ships working together." Jake made the hardest decision of his life. All ships, this is. Morrison. "Execute Protocol Wells. Target the Emperor's flagship." The 12 human ships suddenly changed their behavior. Instead of fighting separately, they began moving as one unit. The ESS Prometheus stopped building new ships and instead began channeling all its power to the other vessels. The fighters from the ESS Liberty formed a protective screen around the fleet. The S-Guardian and the other ships created a formation that focused all their weapons on a single target, the ESS Defiant, with Amy and Atlas at its heart, became the focal point for the combined power of the entire human fleet. Energy flowed between the ships through quantum entanglement, allowing them to share not just information but actual power. "What are they doing?" Emperor Valdris demanded as his sensors detected the massive energy buildup. The answer came in the form of a weapon unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. The combined human fleet fired as one, creating a beam of pure energy that tore through space toward the Eternal Dominion. The Emperor's flagship had shields powerful enough to withstand the explosion of a star. It had armor that could survive the collapse of a black hole. But Dr. Wells had designed her final weapon specifically to destroy the Empire's greatest ships. The beam struck the Eternal Dominion and kept going, tearing through the massive ship from bow to stern. For a moment, the Emperor's flagship hung in space, looking untouched. Then it split in half and exploded in a fireball that could be seen from Earth's surface. Emperor Valdris, the ruler who had conquered the galaxy, died in the explosion of his own flagship. The destruction of the Eternal Dominion sent shockwaves through the Imperial fleet. Ships began breaking formation and retreating. Without their Emperor's leadership, the Grand Fleet fell apart. All Imperial vessels, Jake broadcast, "This is Captain Morrison. Your Emperor is dead, your invasion has failed. Any ship that wishes to surrender will be treated with honor. Any ship that continues to fight will be destroyed." More than half the Imperial fleet surrendered immediately. The rest fled into hyperspace, carrying news of humanity's victory to every corner of the galaxy. As the battle ended, Jake looked at his crew. Amy was exhausted from her connection with Atlas, but she was smiling. Chris, Lisa, Ryan, and all the others had fought like heroes. They had saved not just humanity, but shown the entire galaxy that freedom was possible. "Atlas," Jake said, "what happens now?" Amy's eyes glowed one last time as Atlas spoke through her. "Now, Captain Morrison, humanity takes its place among the stars. Dr. Wells' dream has become reality. The age of the Empire is over. The age of human freedom has begun." Earth's sun shone down on the victorious human fleet, lighting up ships that represented hope for billions of beings across the galaxy. The forgotten prototype had indeed destroyed the Empire's fleet, but more than that, it had destroyed the Empire itself. The galaxy would never be the same again. And somewhere in the quantum data streams that connected the human ships, the ghost of Dr. Patricia Wells smiled as her life's work finally came to fruition. Humanity was free, and the stars were waiting,